So how's everyone doing? Haven't been on in a while. I haven't been on in a minute. It has been a very busy week for me. But I'm here. I'm here, doing well. And before I start, I want to give a shout out to a YouTube channel which has really impressed me. And as a black man who has been very, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit disheartened at the political allegiance that my brothers and sisters have to leftist parties and leftist organizations, Democrat plantation, as I like to call it. Um, and a lot of people have seen it. Black folk they vote 90% of the time with the Democrats, and that's gone on since the 1940s, and it really just solidified itself in the 60s. And you'll notice that's when black folks started to go down. Well, economic. Let's just be truthful here. That's when the black economy, the black family, started to go down when they just started going 90% for the Democrats. I mean, that's just this is the truth. But there's a YouTube channel that I've watched it for a while now, and I've never shouted it out, and I feel it's a duty for me to do so because the mainstream media, they're not going to show you this kind of black folk. These are not black people who are stuck on the leftist plantation, and that YouTube channel is at Real Dana. At Real Dana. I'd like all of you who are, I know most of you are of a conservative mindset. I'm an independent, but you could say that I am of a conservative mindset. I don't belong to any party, but I am an independent. And the Real Dana, not at Real Dana, the Real Dana, this YouTube channel, if you are of the conservative mindset or of a traditional based mindset, this YouTube channel you will enjoy. She does a show every week with Judge Joe Brown. I don't know if you guys remember him. He used to be a judge on national television, and I think he was one of the best judges out there. I mean, better than Judge Judy. I mean, he was one of the best judges, and I don't know why they got rid of him. I think he left because they were trying to screw him over, and he's like F you. But he does a show. She does a show every week with him, and I mean, this boy is Judge Joe Brown. I mean, you think Trump is bad? This boy, he tells it like it is, and he's based. I mean, he's a. I mean, you will. I know my viewers. I know you guys, and I know you will enjoy her YouTube channel, and I know you will. I mean, if you like me. The judge ain't got nothing on me. I mean, y'all think I'm bad. Y'all think he is a firecracker, and he tells it like it is. I mean, last I checked, he was a registered Democrat, but let me tell you something. If Judge Joe Brown ran for president of the United States under the Democrat Party, I'd vote for him. He's not an ordinary Democrat. He bashes Black Lives Matter. He's pro-gun. I mean, he's not pro-Trump, but here's the thing. He's more likely to support Trump over Biden. I mean, he just the other day called out Biden, called him a racist, and he is. I mean, how all these news people propping up Biden and how Biden got rid of Trump and all this stuff. Biden's a racist, Judge Joe Brown pointed out that during the 70s, he referred to black folk as roaches, and he doesn't want his black folk to jungle up his schools, and he don't want his children going to school with black folk. He points that stuff out. So, I mean, this is a good YouTube channel. If you want some base commentary, I would advise you all to subscribe to The Real Dana. I think she would appreciate the fact that Arana Nation is properly uploaded. Anyway, we're talking about Black Wall Street, right? Miss Engineer, Black Wall Street, if you will. Black Wall Street from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm sure you guys have heard about this in the news. Now, if you don't, or if you haven't heard about this, Black Wall Street was a community in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was, excuse me, essentially it was a Black neighborhood. Now, I know a lot of you, when you think of Black neighborhoods, you think of ghetto, you think of crime, you think of shooting, you think of prostitution, you think of drugs, you think of deprivation. This was anything but. Now, this was, and there's a reason why they called it Black Wall Street. This was a neighborhood full of Black-owned banks, Black-owned grocery stores, Black-owned insurance companies, Black-owned, look at how the people dress back then. Let's look at how these brothers dress. You think of Black folk now, you think, oh, they go sag their pants, hat on backwards, chain. Look at these boys over here. Look at them. Look at them. My God, the suits. This one even got a flower in his suit. Nice hats, shine shoes. This was when Black people in America were at their best. And I'm talking about this for a reason, because I recently watched this documentary on CNN, which of course they're trying to pimp out Black folk. They're trying to use our pain and our anger to, first of all, not have us, own up to our responsibility, but also to keep us in a state of submissiveness and dependence, because that's what anger is going to give you. And they're trying to say that, this Black Wall Street was destroyed because of racism. Now, there was a riot. There was a massacre. There was a massacre. And Ms. Engineer, I don't know if you can show some pictures. In fact, I think we may have seen some pictures here. There was a very bad massacre where Ku Klux Klan, I believe, they came in and they just destroyed the place. And it was all because allegedly some guy was raping some white girl. And later on, apparently it turned out that, she said, no, I don't know what y'all were talking about. That never happened. That never happened. I don't know why she didn't come out sooner, but it is what it is. And they destroyed the place. And there it is. Now, the thing that you have to understand is that, okay, it was destroyed, but nobody wants to talk about the fact that it was rebuilt. They rebuilt it. They rebuilt it. Yeah, they did. They rebuilt Black Wall Street. Now, they're going to make you forget that because they don't want you to know what really destroyed not only Black Wall Street, but Harlem and other Detroit. And basically, not only what destroyed these places, but what destroyed the Black spirit. And I should actually say the Hamite spirit, because that's what Black folks are. Black folks are Hamites, the son of Ham, and white folk are Japheth, but we won't get into that. We'll just say black and white, just because that's what you guys know. No, what destroyed Black Wall Street? I'll say it. Liberalism destroyed it. Leftism destroyed it. And big government destroyed it. Lyndon Johnson destroyed it. Let me tell you something. Let's show a picture of this. Lyndon Baines Johnson and his great society, along with people like Franklin Roosevelt with his New Deal and liberalism. That is what destroyed not only Black Wall Street, but the Black spirit. We went from owning banks and being business people and being masters of our own ship to being angry, bitter, whiny, in some cases violent, dysfunctional individuals in America, and I would say around the Western world. There, I said it. Now get mad at that. You can get mad at me all you want. I'll give you proof of it. And I've always said this. When a society is abandoned, that's usually when they are at their best. Now, before slavery and after slavery, when Black folk were really on their own, they were up a creek without a paddle. There was no welfare. There was nothing. thing. White folk didn't give a damn about them. All they knew is that they had to get them off their plantation as soon as possible. And after that, they were just like, let's pretend they don't exist. You know, black folk did. They started creating shops. They started staying home. Black fathers. You would never find a black family without a black father unless it was wartime and he was out there in World War I or World War II, out there in Germany or Italy or North Africa or the Somme or whatever. That's the only time you don't see a black father in the home. But before that, but in peacetime, always black father in the home, always discipline in the home, always order in the home, all of that stuff, because they knew there was nothing else. They knew they either had to swim or sink. And that's how it was from directly after slavery until the 1930s, when, again, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who I'm not going to bash him too much. I will bash Lyndon Johnson, but I do believe Franklin Delano Roosevelt had good intentions. But that is when things, I mean, they were still pretty steady. But he brought in the New Deal, and I believe it was genuine. It wasn't anything malicious. That was the Great Depression, and people were struggling. And of course, when people are struggling, black folk will struggle even more, because the whole population, they hated black folk. They hated them. They still hate them. But, you know, if the white folk were struggling, the black folk were really struggling. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt came in with his Social Security and all this stuff, big government stuff, and he paid special attention to the black man. And they started saying, you know, these Democrats, which used to be racist against us, and which used to be the party of slavery, when the Republicans were the party of Lincoln, maybe these Democrats aren't so bad, so let's vote for them. And that was the first time they started to vote for the Democrats during the Great Deal times. Then what happened is you had a break from that. You had a break from that, and and as a result from that break, you had someone, Miss Engineer, if we can put this picture up, called Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, I believe this was the last Republican that black folk ever voted for, as a majority. This was the last time black people voted for the Republicans as a majority. And I'm not here saying that Republicans or Democrats are the savior, but nobody is our savior except for God and ourselves. God and ourselves, that's it. But what I'm saying is that we voted for people who were prepared to get out of our way, give us the tools we need to sustain and support ourselves and our families, and get out of the way. We weren't voting for somebody who was trying to give us everything and to take care of us and to force our face into their tit and have us sucking on it until the day we die, and pimping out our anger and saying that everybody's against us and you'll never get anywhere because this is America and America's a racist country and you are a black man and you can't get anywhere. You're a nigga, you can't get anywhere because America's a racist country and you can Black Wall Street my foot. You need Social Security. You need us. You need us. And that's when we get to a man named, Miss Engineer, let's put him back up there again. I believe one of these, a very terrible individual and one of the worst presidents out there, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he was a racist too. He was caught on many occasions by his black servant, who later came out and said, Lyndon Johnson said that by the time I'm done, those niggers will be voting Democrat for the next 100 years. And that was the new plantation. And the plan was to stop putting hope into our heads, make us feel hopeless, make us feel angry, make us feel vulnerable. And the only way we're going to even get a crumb of anything, I mean, forget about thriving, All we need to focus on is surviving in this racist, evil world. And only the Democrat Party will have you survive. You'll never thrive. You'll never thrive in America. You'll never thrive. It's too racist for you. It's too hate-filled for you. You came here as slaves. Y'all were here as slaves. You all were forced to pick cotton. Y'all were lynched. No, there's no hope for you here. There's no hope, honey. No, forget about your Black Wall Street. Stop slaving away in your own businesses. Forget about your families. Hey, Black fathers, get out of them homes there so that the Black mother could get more welfare money. Yeah, get them Black men out of their home, and we'll get the Black men out of the home so that the children are raised without any fathers, and then there's no discipline, and they're all raised by a bunch of women. Not saying anything bad about single mamas, but that's the plan here. And then, we all just grow up angry and vulnerable and looking everywhere for racism, and we're just trying to survive. And the only way we're going to survive, forget about thriving, the only way you're going to survive is the Democrat Party. And in the back of Lyndon's mind, he's saying, them Democrat Black niggas, they gonna vote for me for the next 100 years. Because that was the plan with the Great Society and the food stamps and the welfare system, which drives out the Black fathers, because then that way the mothers get a bigger check and the children don't know who their daddy is, and there's no fathers in the home. Forget about God, that's thrown out the window. And then all this time, and then you go into the 1970s and the 80s and the 90s up until now, and you got all these white Democrats talking about racism. And now, we are without our spirit. We are without our entrepreneurial finesse. We've got nothing. No hope. No hope of owning any business. No hope of having our own money. I mean, maybe if you bounce a ball up and down the basketball court, or you sing some damn rap song which talks about, all kinds of disgusting and lewd and lascivious lyrics about women and all this sort of stuff, the same women who raised you without the father, who would slap you across the face if you ever spoke that way about a woman. That is, if the father himself was a man, maybe then you'll get someone. But other than that, no. And now we come to today, where you have Joe Biden out there saying that Black Wall Street was a result of racism. Racism. The destruction of Black Wall Street was because of racism. And you see, this is the proof that Black folk don't bother making your own business. Don't bother doing this stuff because racism will tear it down. Never mind the fact that back in those days, in the 1920s, you know what them Black folk did back then when those racist dog, SOB, son of a bitch, Ku Klux Klan pieces of shit came into their neighborhood? You know what them Black folk did? They used their guns and they fought back. Boom, 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 boom. Shot them. I was gonna say, shot them rednecks in their heads, and so an equal amount of them died. And you notice, you saw some. There was actually a picture which I really liked. I mean, of Black people with guns in Black Wall Street. Mr. Engineer, I don't know if you can find this picture, but I mean, you got Black gun owners, and these aren't, bad people. These are just people demonstrating what really happened on Black Wall. There you go. I mean, look at them there. Look at these guys. I wouldn't even mess with them. God, and that goes back to another thing. I'll say this: when the next time you hear someone talk about gun control, you looking at one of the most racist people out there. This whole thing about gun control, I mean, gun control affects Black folk the most. And I'm not trying to, I know there's a lot of white people who are watching me now, but this is an education, because you white folk are going to probably watch, I know a lot of you still watch the mainstream media, and you're going to hear about how Black Wall Street was gotten rid of by racists. And I, as a Black man who knows his history, I want to tell you and teach you that no, that's not the case. I mean, yes, there was adversity, and there's going to always be adversity. The Irish suffered adversity. The Palestinians suffer adversity. Everybody, the Jews suffer adversity. Everybody does. Why we as Black folk, we have to always be prepared for adversity. But the difference between then and now is that we had a spirit within us. We were like, God damn it, the government, excuse me, God, I don't mean to take your name in vain, but we're not going to just sit there and be angry and not even try to thrive in this world. I mean, one life to live, and all we're doing is sitting around bitching on about how bad things are and how we might as well. And don't talk to me about this Black Lives Matter thing. As far as I'm concerned, BLM stands for Black Lesbian Movement. And I'm not saying anything bad about gays or lesbians, but look, the leadership is run by Black lesbians. They're all lesbian. They've admitted it. The constitution of BLM talks about the patriarchy. I mean, this sounds like something out of some feminist playbook. I mean, get rid of the patriarchy. I mean, how are you going to get rid of a patriarchy? The Black people need more patriarchy. All these Black fathers leaving their families. I mean, and you're going to talk about the patriarchy and marriage and slavery. That's all in BLM's constitution. Don't talk to me about no BLM. Don't talk to me about it. That has nothing to do with Black people. And BLM will just further bring us down. It'll further bring us down. Talk about BLM, Black Lives Matter. Look at all these white people talking about Black Lives Matter with their virtues. You don't even know what that means. Are you a Ku Klux Klan person? What are you trying to talk about Black Lives Matter for? I wonder if this was a secret ploy to further put us into. Thank God there are some. Thank goodness. Sorry, God. Thank goodness there are Black people waking up though to this crap about BLM though. But anyway. Since it is the anniversary of the massacre of Black Wall Street, I felt that I had to set the record straight because I refuse. I'll be damned if I have CNN, which of course CNN is just filled with a bunch of handkerchief head house Negroes who are further spouting off the talking points of the Democrat plantation owners. That's CNN. Give me a break. They won't, all them tokenized Black folk on CNN spouting off the leftist Van Jones, what's his name? The one who lives on Cinderella Street. Don Lemon. And then you got MSNBC, another one, Joanne Reed. Oh my, Al Sharpton. Look how they sissified and neutered Al Sharpton. I mean, that man used to be a rebel. Now he's all spayed and neutered and good boy, this, and talking more about illegal immigration and LGBT instead of Black issues. They spayed and neutered that boy real good. I wonder, did they lynch him or something? I don't know. But yeah, that is the story of Black Wall Street. The spirit that built Black Wall Street was destroyed by liberalism. And my hope is that my generation, or even the generation that I create, my children, when I get children and their generation, will change that. That's my hope. And knock on wood, I've been seeing signs that's been happening, because that YouTube channel that I mentioned to you, The Real Dana, a lot of the callers that call into her show are young Black people. Not old crusty. I mean, it's young people who have seen the light. You won't see them on CNN. You won't see them. I got this comment on my Bitchute channel by someone who said, "Oh, you're the one Black person I could listen to." And I said, "Why is that?" I don't know. He probably thought that I would call him. I mean, and he's like, well, the ideology, most Black people are, they're leftist, they're woke, they're this. And I'm like, no, they're really not, actually. The reason why you think that is because the mainstream media won't show people like me. They won't show. There are more people like me with my mindset than you think, Yeah, there really is, but CNN wouldn't put me on there. The only reason you know about me is because I'm on YouTube channel, but there are people out there with the same mindset as me. And the good news is that they're actually younger. Not them old, patronizing, man, how dare you as a Black man, most patriotic, you're Black. Shut up! What have you done for us except sit there and whine and stuff? it's young people who are beginning to see the light. So I felt that on this anniversary of the Black Wall Street Massacre, I would set the record straight. This is the